Alexis here, and welcome back to my Florist YouTube channel. So in today's video, I got a holiday special for you. We are going to be making a holiday centerpiece. We are not using any floral foam for this arrangement. I am going to practice sustainability in flowers. So today we are going to be working with this container, and I have two little like 4x4 cylinder vases that I'm tucking in here. So this is the part where I would typically add floral foam. So I would typically put floral foam all in this, just have my cylinder vase in the center. We're going to be putting a floating candle in the middle here, and we're going to have two arrangements come out on either side of this vase. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's make a beautiful holiday centerpiece. Before we begin arranging, I want to start practicing and telling you guys to wear gloves when you flower arrange. There are so many chemicals on these dang things. The evergreens that we're working with today, if you have like really sensitive skin like me, I recommend that you wear some gloves. So I'm going to begin by just placing greenery into my cylinder vases. So these two small vases, I'm going to be adding greens into these. So before I place anything into my vase, I'm always going to give everything a fresh chop, and we're just going to clean off the stem. We just want to take off any of the leaves that are going to be touching the water. Even if you're just cutting off like a teensy little bit, it's better than doing nothing. So I'm going to start by just greening out my vase today. I'm going to be working with some of this pine. I also have some of this really nice dusty miller. So I'm going to start by just greening up my container and adding in my greenery. So just do that. So whatever I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. Everything gets a fresh chop before you place it into the water. Usually when I work with cylinder vases, I tape up the vase. I make a little tape grid. I'm not doing that today because I feel like the greens that we're using are really going to help give us the stability that we need. Now guys, this is a messy project, so I recommend that if you don't have like a trash can nearby, make sure you have one, because the pine needles kind of get everywhere. Now you can get some of these tree cuttings if you are getting a Christmas tree this year. You can ask them to see if they have any leftover branches that you could use. They're usually pretty accommodating. Make sure to get around this front area and this back area real good. You want to make sure you are hiding your vessel. When I'm also placing my greens, notice that there is a back side and a front side. The front side is that vibrant bright green color. The back side is a little bit more grayer. So especially with the pine, just make sure that you are placing that on the right side. So this dusty miller is nice because you can cut this up into multiple sections and have multiple pieces in vase. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. And we don't need a ton of it, we just need a little bit of it to just kind of add as like an accent to our arrangement here. It adds like a nice, like really pretty texture element. This stuff is actually very delicate to work with, so make sure you are placing this directly into the water or it will die fast. For flowers today, we have hydrangeas. I've got some of these beautiful red roses. I found these really pretty tulips. These tulips kind of reminded me of like a candy cane, which I thought would be perfect for what we're doing today. And I actually found some of this dried red dyed solidago. I'm not really sure how I'm going to use it. Some trends that are coming in for 2025 are incorporating some dried elements. So I'm going to maybe try to incorporate some of this dried element just so I can stay on trend for 2025, guys. I'm going to start by adding hydrangea to my base, and this is just going to hide my mechanics. So I've got one piece. I'm going to place this piece a little bit farther down, closer to the base of my arrangement here. Now these pieces are going to be cut short because I want them to sit right at the base of my arrangement here. I might actually take this out, place this, and then place it in between. That's why I really like hydrangea, because you can actually place like greens and flowers in between the flower itself, like the hydrangea stem. So that's really nice. And I do have one more piece, and I think this side is going to need it just a little bit more. So if this is too full, I can always pull back some of these blooms. Now, unfortunately, I am going to have to throw these out. Now, the big thing with these centerpieces here for the table is that you want to be able to see over them. So I don't want my flowers to be too high, but I am going to start creating a little bit of depth and dimension. So I only have about 12 roses here, so I'm going to try to make these stretch. So I'm going to start by just placing one rose a little bit higher, and I'm going to start to create depth and dimension by angling my roses one higher than the other. So I'm going to start with one, and I like to work in threes. So I'm going to start with one rose and work in triangles. Never place things on the same height. So if we have one rose this height, I might have to place another rose just a little bit shorter. We'll place this other rose right about here. So because I only have 12, you can do a thing where we cluster our like flowers together, and that makes them feel like there's more flowers. So we're going to cluster our roses together here. So 1, 2, we'll add one to the front as well. And let's do something on this side as well. So I think I'm actually going to place a tulip on this side of my arrangement. So I want to start adding in this like little peppermint tulip here. And one thing about tulips is that they continue to grow after you cut them. So just keep in mind that if you place this tulip here on Wednesday, it is not going to be here by Friday. It's going to be all the way up here. So we'll just pull off that little leaf there. So like I said, guys, I like to work in threes. So we've got 1, 2, and I think I'm going to add my third one on this side. So 1, 2, 3. So since I added a tulip on this side, I'm going to add a rose on this side just to balance that other side out. And you can like weasel your stem in there like that. Now wherever you add your dried elements, make sure it's away from the candle flame. One thing I really like doing is adding a cylinder vase and then my candle. This is going to make sure that nothing catches fire. I'm going to add another piece. I think I'm going to add a taller piece on this side. And let's add one piece on this side, just so we have that balance. Now it's also important to rotate your vase, so you're working on all sides of your arrangement. So now I'm just working on clustering my like flowers together, so it just gives a little bit more of a statement here. So I'm just creating a nice little cluster with these 2 roses in the front here. I'm just placing these berries on this side. Now whatever I do to one side, I kind of like to mirror and do to the other side. It's okay to pull back the flowers and make sure you're really inserting into that vase there, guys. I know we can't see it as we cover it, but you just got to make sure you're moving it out the way. So I'm going to add another piece on this side. Thinking about another tulip on this side. So we've got 1, 2, I'll place a third one there. Okay, so we're going to rotate our vase. Now what's really cool about straw flowers is that it has like all these little, I call them legs, but it's got a lot of legs to it. You can either pull them off and add them in individually, or keep them together. So I'm just trimming down my stem here so it's just a little bit easier to add to the vase. And always want to cut everything on an angle. So we're going to start by doing my triangles again. So we'll place one on this side. I feel like this is just a little bare right here. I'm thinking I'm needing a rose on this side as well.
we're just adding in and filling in any holes that we see. So I felt like right here could have used a tulip, so I put a tulip there.
All right guys, so here it is. Here is our finished centerpiece. I love the height, the dimension, and most importantly, I love that this is sustainable. This was made with no floral foam. We just used cylinder vases. So what you can do when it comes time, like I would change the water out of these vases like maybe every other day, especially since you have the pine. The pine is going to make the water go really yucky really fast. Here is our finishing touch. Now she's Christmas ready. I hope you guys enjoyed arranging this centerpiece with me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram at flowersbyalexis, and I will see you all soon with another video. Bye!